Hello everyone, I'm Krasi and this is my week for the 12 Ascendants. I will make an overview, a bit also of the month of February and then of the week, and after that we will look at the 12 Ascendants from sidereal point of view. What I will tell you ascendant per ascendant will also be valid for the moon signs. So what is happening actually in the month of February, but also this week. Now, the most beautiful event of the week is that Venus on the 3rd of February is entering her sign of exaltation, which is Pisces. Up until 3rd of February, she will be in Aquarius, and in Aquarius she has specific dignities which are associated with the points of the vernal equinoxes, of the equinoxes and the solstices. Therefore, Venus does have specific dignities in Aquarius, where she's very spiritual, very fine. But when she enters Pisces, she will be an evening star. She is now an evening star, which would say that you can see her only on the western horizon after the sun sets. So Venus is an evening star, and she's beautifully visible, and she is entering her sign of exaltation, Pisces. This is very, very nice, and certainly this is the most powerful Venus that we can imagine. Now, all the time she's moving together with Mars, who on the 9th of February, end of the week, is leaving the sign that he rules, Scorpio, and is entering Sagittarius, which is very interesting. It's happening just in the end of the week. It will be more felt next week, but still, he's joining there Jupiter. And Mars and Jupiter together are forming something very powerful, a very powerful conjunction of leadership, of action, of it's a very powerful warrior-like conjunction, which certainly can bring, for some people, depends how Jupiter and Mars are placed in their own charts, but it can bring very winning opportunities, situations, conditions. This is very powerful conjunction, which is also forming the nature of some powerful fixed stars in the horoscopes, yes. So these are the two most important events. And then also, but this is a bit further for some countries, for part of America, for example, towards the middle of February, Saturn is becoming visible in his sign of Capricorn. And here is also to mention that on the 31st of January, Saturn entered his sign of Capricorn, which will be life-changing for everyone, just for all of us, because you know that he's traveling all around the zodiac to enter once in 30 years his own sign. He's going back home. The king is going back home, but he's still invisible. So his influences are very subtle, very delicate, and sometimes they mark things that will appear later that are happening behind our backs. And I also explained the details about Saturn and Pluto conjunction in another video. Also, Mercury this week is preparing his disappearance, which would say that he's disappearing in the sign of Aquarius, which would say that he's not anymore so helpful in terms of media, in terms of sharing knowledge, in terms of travel, negotiations, buying property, for example. So Mercury is becoming invisible in the sign of Aquarius, where he will receive very spiritual, delicate nature. So to open a bracket about the exalted Venus, the beauty of the exalted Venus, you may see my separate video on this. The exalted Venus in Pisces, she will be receiving a square after the 9th of February from Mars, and this will work on very much on people's emotions, because these are the two personal planets mainly associated with people's emotions, with their romantic life. So they will be forming a square. However, before that, Mars and Venus are forming trine. This is very harmonious. And since you asked me in the comment session what is the on which particular date, and to show you also the chart of the talismans that I'll be making on the 4th of January. I will open a big bracket and I will show you my talismans, the election chart of the talismans that I'll be making on the 4th of February, excuse me, and after that we're starting to view the 12 ascendants or the 12 moon signs, and I will tell you which ascendant is from the sidereal point of view and the corresponding ascendant from the tropical point of view, the Western astrology point of view, because some of you are following the Western zodiac. So, as I told you, on the 3rd of February, Venus is entering Pisces, and on the 4th of February, I will use the moment to make the consecration ritual for the Venus talismans. And here I'm sharing my screen with you very briefly to show you. So this is the chart of the creation of the Venus talismans. Look, on 4th of February, in an hour of Venus, which is very important because the hour is more important than the day, the hour of Venus, Venus is exactly on mid-heaven for my longitudes in Europe, and is on in the 2nd degrees of Pisces, very powerful degrees, because on the 5th degrees we're having the point of the vernal equinox. And then you see the very fast moon sextiling Venus, applying harmonious aspect to the sun, and you can see that also the moon, very fast moon, is in conjoint Rigel, star of money. And you can see that on the descendant we're having Jupiter in a morning first phase, like 5 days ago, Jupiter became visible. And it's very important to have an angular position, benefic planet, so that if there is something that is not imperfection in the chart, he is giving the blessing and the beauty. So we're having as you see, Venus on Venus hour, on mid-heaven, fast moon, sextiling Venus, happy moon, exalted in Taurus, also sun ruled by Venus. And then you also see, this is basically the chart when Venus is highly dignified for the creation of the Venus talisman. So I'm stopping my share and we continue. To the point, ascendant per ascendant, but indeed the most important event, which people who have Pisces ascendants or Scorpio or Cancer moon ascendant will certainly feel, we will experience the beauty of the exalted Venus, which will be in Pisces for approximately 1 month. So let's see ascendant, sidereal ascendant, Aries, or if you're following the tropical zodiac, this will be Taurus. So we're looking at Aries ascendant. Now, Jupiter, for quite some time, until November 2020, will be creating harmonious aspect to your ascendant. And this 1 year for you will be really under the blessing of Jupiter. Now, end of this week, Mars, exactly at the end of the week, Mars is joining Jupiter, and they will create desires maybe for you to study or to travel, or to communicate, to negotiate, to share your knowledge. Mars and Jupiter together are forming an aspect which is very much about leadership, desiring to perform important tasks. All 9th house matters, either traveling or studying or sharing your knowledge with the others. Also, this week, already from 31st of January, Saturn is on your 10th house, but he will not become visible for you this week. When he becomes visible on your 10th house, you will certainly start experiencing maybe changes related to your career. He will put things into place. Now, how exactly he will work for you depends very much on how Saturn is placed in your natal chart. Mercury this week is still on your 10th house and visible, and this is great because the visible Mercury is helping financially, helping you with your plans. So he's having a very good influence on your 10th house because he's also trining his own sign. Mercury is quite powerful, and together with Saturn on your 10th house, he can have influence and help you arrange, rearrange tasks, plans. It will all be career-wise. Now, on 3rd of February, Venus is entering your 12th house. This placement you will not experience directly, most probably, but she will be creating aspect with Jupiter, with Mars, and all this is fine because she can have good influence on your sleep. She can provoke you to do work of empathy, mercy, helping others, but her influence of joy, abundance, you will not immediately feel because she's on your 12th house. This week also, all of the time until Venus will be on your 12th house, she will be helpful for your health, but she might not be very helpful for your personal life and relationship. There you may need to be very patient, loving, intuitive. So this is the only area where you need to work on during the coming week. So this was about Ascendant Aries. And now we're looking at Taurus sidereal, or if you're following the modern astrology, this will be Gemini. So Taurus. Still this week, until 3rd of February, Venus is on your 10th house where she's creating harmonious and peaceful environment at work. On the 3rd, she's entering Pisces, your 11th house, and Venus is your ruler, so she's so important. This will be brilliant for social circle, for your social circle, for your friendships, for your plans. She will be helping you financially for sure. Mars, who is on your 7th house, will be until 9th, until just the end of the week. We will leave your descendant and will go into your 8th house, where this could be fine and interesting for the finances of your partner, but could be a bit challenging for your private and romantic life. And there you need to be a bit patient and intuitive and loving. Apart from that, Saturn is already on your 9th house in his own placement. And there he will introduce changes, 9th house changes. How exactly depends on your chart. But in general, Saturn on your 9th house in Capricorn will bring organization or structure, or will rearrange your 9th house. What is this meaning? He would bring you to studies which you didn't accomplish, for example, or he would bring you he would change your interests towards the religious philosophies. He can create changes in general related to your contacts with people abroad. He can change the way you communicate, the way you plan to work with people abroad or to travel. How exactly depends on how Saturn is placed in your chart. But in any case, he will come and he will be 2.5 years on your 9th house to reorganize your 9th house about knowledge, long distance travels. Could be that he helps you to introduce new knowledge and new studies into your life for good. His methods are not very easy always, but are always good and always good for us. Now Mercury is becoming invisible in your 10th house. Most probably this will be peaceful because he's having a very spiritual nature in Aquarius. So he will certainly not influence in a bad way, but he can make your 10th house very fine. Like whatever is happening there, the plans and the projects that, for example, you're working on will not see results after his next appearance and visibility, but certainly he will help you intuitively to work on your job tasks, or on your plans, or on your career tasks. So in this sense, Mercury can be very good, can help you enhance your intuition, and this will be nice. Also for you, the challenging aspect is your private life, your relationship. There you may need to be a little bit patient and loving. So we're looking now Ascendant Gemini. And if you're following the modern tropical astrology, you will be recognizing yourself as Cancer. And as I said earlier, this is also valid for the moon signs. So if you have Ascendant Gemini or Moon in Gemini, this is for you. Now for you, lovely for 1 year until November 14, I think, this year. Jupiter will be on your descendant to help you with your private life, with your relationship. And now on the 31st, Saturn left you, your descendant. And this is really great because Saturn was a big obstacle in any area of your life, but in particular, maybe your private life, your relationship, relationships in general. But Jupiter will be for 1 year on your descendant to help you recover, to help you fix what Saturn was limiting. I didn't say destroy because Saturn is not destroying, he's limiting us. Now, Venus is still until 3rd of February on your 9th house, and this is very nice. She's creating harmonious aspect to your ascendant to help you on your spiritual path, to help you with your studies, to give you abundance and well-being in general. And now on the 3rd of February, Venus is entering your 10th house. And this is really very nice because on your 10th house, she will bring career opportunities. She will soften the environment, the work environment at your career place. She could create good opportunities for communication with your superiors. Venus will be in general very helpful on your 10th house because she's watching the ascendant, she's watching the descendant, so she will be helping you also with your private life. Now, end of the week, Mars is entering also your 7th house, and this could create, this will make the 7th house of your relationships in general, a busy place, like where too many things may happen, or too emotionally as well. So during this stay of Mars for approximately 1 month on your 7th house, you may need to be a little bit patient and very intuitive and loving and patient also with your partner. Apart from that, on middle of, I think it was, it's towards the end of the month when Mercury is becoming visible on your invisible on your 9th house. But now Mercury is also visible on your 9th house, which is good for your studies, good for negotiations, for communication with people abroad. So this Mercurian placement is very spiritual and will help you exactly on your spiritual path. So let's see Ascendant Cancer from sidereal perspective, or if you're following the modern astrology, tropical astrology, you recognize yourself as Leo. Now for you, Saturn now on the 31st of January entered your descendant, where he is the king. He is entering his own sign of Capricorn. And there he's literally at home. He entered your 7th house to bring organization to structure it, to fix what has not been fixed on your 7th house, your relationship house. Now, this depends exactly how Saturn is placed in your natal chart, but this can be opportunity to fix unfixed matters in your private life. And especially, yes, but you will feel his presence more when he becomes visible. For some parts of America, this is middle of the month of February. For Europe, this would be beginning of March. But still, Saturn is on your 7th house. And this is not bad because he's ruling your 7th house. While he's there, actually, he can help you fix matters in your relationship. He can come to really to bring order into your private life. So this entrance of Saturn for 2.5 years on your descendant can be something very good. On the other hand, for approximately 1 year, you're having Jupiter on your 6th house. Even now he is, of course, there on your 6th house. He can create opportunity for you to fix matters with subordinates, to win over enemies. He can help you solve matters related to health. Venus on the 3rd of February is entering your 9th house, and this is brilliant. She will be creating harmonious aspect to your ascendant for abundance, for in general, for support and blessing. And from on your 9th house, she will be brilliant for negotiations, for starting new stuff, for new studies, for travel. So in this regard, the week is very good for you. See, very important point I want to make, since this is the entrance of Saturn on your descendant. This is the beginning of his path. See how these beginnings work. This beginning work on you. And the beginning will show you how the whole cycle will look like. So if the beginning is harmonious, the cycle of Saturn will also be harmonious. So look how this will work, because it really depends how Saturn in your natal chart looks like. So this was for Ascendant Cancer. Now we're looking at Ascendant Leo, and if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Ascendant Virgo. Now for you, Venus is leaving your descendant in a couple of days, and on the 3rd of January she'll be on your 8th house. From there you may not feel very much the presence of Venus because she's not aspecting your ascendant, but it will be fine for your partner, or for surprising incomes for you, or for the incomes of your partner, incomes from family. Now, Mercury is on your 7th house, where actually he's still visible, and he's creating opportunities to negotiate, to communicate with people that you have agreements with, a company, or relationship with partners. Also, if you have unresolved matters in your private relationship, well, Mercury is visible. This is a wonderful opportunity. On the other hand, end of the week, Mars is leaving your 4th house, where he was powerful influence in your home and work, and could be that he created some disharmonies, but now he is leaving to make conjunction with Jupiter on your 5th house. There, this is very much leadership, warrior, ruling conjunction, quite powerful. And this would say that you may need, again, for approximately one month, to be a little bit cautious with children. But this can create desires for work of creativity, creative studies. Can impact also your private life, where you may need to be very patient and intuitive and loving. On the other hand, the week is fine for some new beginnings, to communicate, to negotiate. And while Saturn will be for quite some time on your 6th house, depends how he's placed on your natal chart, but still this will create maybe, depends on the chart, opportunities to win over enemies, will create opportunities to fix health matters if you had such. And now we're looking at Ascendant, Sidereal Ascendant Virgo, or if you're following the tropical modern zodiac, we're looking at Ascendant Libra. Now, for you, Mercury is visible, powerful in a phase of on your 6th house, and there he's creating a lot of he's creating busy environment at work, your routine, where a lot may be happening, communication-wise or commerce-wise, and all this on your 6th house. He could be influencing very much your relationship with subordinates, where a lot might be happening. On the other hand, on 3rd of February, Venus is entering your 7th house, where she's exalted. This is brilliant for your private life, for your romantic life, can bring love and peace with your partner if you need it. And at the end of the week, Mars will be creating not very harmonious aspect with Venus, and this is to say it's not a dangerous at all aspect, but this could be a little bit working too much on your emotions. Therefore, you may need to be a bit more intuitive. Jupiter is on your 4th house to support your work, to support your house. So in this regard, this is very nice. And Saturn from your 5th, still invisible, but it can be very esoteric, can create interest to study the occult, to get engaged into creative studies. So in this sense, this is very nice. However, because we don't know exactly how Saturn is placed on your chart, you may need to be a little bit cautious and attentive with children. While for these 2.5 years, while Saturn will be on your 5th house. Okay, so this was for Ascendant Virgo. Now we're looking at Ascendant Libra, or this will be Sidereal Scorpio, if you're following the modern tropical astrology. Now for you, Venus is your ascendant ruler, is still on your 5th house. And on the 3rd of February, he's entering your 6th house, where she will be exalted. She will help and bring peace in your routine, work environment, your communication with subordinates. She will help you solve health issues. She will help you resolve conflicts and conflicting matters while she's there for approximately 1 month. And then at the same moment, Mercury is on your 5th house, and this is very nice. Create environment for gains and money, until he's visible. He can create environment for creative studies, for doing work of beauty and pleasure. And also, in the end of the week, Mars, who was on your 2nd house and who was creating desires to actively make money, now is leaving your 2nd house, and he will make conjunction end of the week with Jupiter on your 3rd house. And there, the focus of your desires may change towards travel, communication, towards commercial work, towards winning over some commercial case, for example, or could be related also to negotiations and travel and communicating with people abroad, or project which could be related to communication and media. So in this sense, Mars and Jupiter together can powerfully influence you, because they are creating aspect to the ascendant and to the descendant, to the both. This week is fine for you to travel and negotiate, and you may also do some new beginnings. In this sense, the week is good. And now we're looking at ascendant Scorpio Sidereal, or Sagittarius Tropical, if you're following the tropical astrology. Mars will still be on your ascendant until the end of the week, which is interesting because he's there at home, he's the boss, he's the ruler of your ascendant, and there he is very powerful. He's giving you this ambition, desires to work, to create, to go for your tasks. He can give you these positive energies to create things. On the other hand, all the time until end of November, almost 2020, Jupiter will be on your 2nd house, very helpful for your finances. On 3rd of February, Venus will enter your 5th house to help your love life, because there she'll be exalted, to help your communication with children, to bless your children. Also, there she'll be very useful for money, for work of beauty, work of creativity. During this week, you may travel, you may negotiate. Some new beginnings are also allowed, and they will be a very, very much supported by the sky. And now we're looking at ascendant Sagittarius, a sidereal or tropical Capricorn, if you're following the tropical astrology. For you, Jupiter is already visible on your ascendant. This is brilliant. Saturn is still invisible on your 2nd house, and you still don't feel his influences also this week, because on your 2nd house he can make you save money. He can make you think of organizing your money, the way you're making money, organizing your expenditures if you want. But you will be more active in doing all these tasks after he becomes visible mid of the month for some world longitudes. On the other hand, 3rd of February, Venus is entering your 4th house, where she will be blessing your home and also your career, your work. Mercury is very powerful and still visible on your third house, where he's very spiritual. He can support your spiritual path. He can support your communication, negotiation, travels. So this week is good for all these: travel, negotiation, some new beginnings as well. So let's look at Ascendant, Capricorn, sidereal perspective, or if you're following the tropical astrology, this will be Aquarius. Now for you, Saturn is already on your Ascendant, and he's at home, therefore he can't be harmful if he's in his own placement. He's the king, and after 30 years of absence, the king is back home, where he's coming to bring law and order, if you want to say it this way. How exactly he will work on you, this can be seen in your chart, and how Saturn is placed in your natal chart. For some people, he can bring royal power. For others, he can create change in their social status. He can bring rank to others. He can make that they lose their rank in the society or powers. But in any case, he is bringing a reorganization and structure, which will personally influence you very, very much. Everything that he does makes sense. Everything that he does is wise. Mars, till the end of the week, in his own placement on your 11th house, is harmoniously aspecting you. From there, he's fine for your incomes, for your gains. On the 3rd of February, Venus is entering your 3rd house, where she will support very much your communication attempts, for example, work travels or studies or spiritual path. This week you may travel, you may negotiate, some new beginnings are also allowed, and Mercury on your 2nd house visible this week entirely, he will be visible, will support your finances. And now let's see Ascendant Aquarius. Now for you, your Ascendant ruler is on your 12th house, where he may influence you in a way very spiritual, or he can create desires for you to get deep into the secret sciences or desire solitude. He can influence your sleep, bring you interesting dreams, and make your sleep very interesting. Venus is leaving your Ascendant on the 3rd of February. She's entering your 2nd house, where she will be exalted, and there she will be supporting very much your finances or communication with your family members. Jupiter is supporting also your finances very good. And until the end of the end of the week, Mars in his own placement, in his own house, is on your 10th house, where he's helping creating desires to he's actually all your energies will be concentrated into your career, because Mars is representing our desires and he's on your 10th house. He can make your career place very, very busy up until the end of the week. So there are the energies. There is the energies are flowing in your career place, where Mars is right now in his own placement. So could be that a lot is happening in your career place, and so will be until end of the week. This week you may do some new beginnings, you may travel, you may negotiate. Yes, so this was for Ascendant Aquarius. And now we're looking at Ascendant Pisces, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, you recognize yourself as Aries. Now for you, on 3rd of February, Venus is entering your Ascendant. This is brilliant. She'll bring you abundance, blessings, support, protection for 1 month approximately. She will help your love life. She will help you achieve what you want to achieve. Now, Jupiter also on your 10th house, who is very supportive, because there he's helping you in your career place. He's creating peaceful and joyful environment for you, which probably joy you've been missing for quite some time. Mars on your 9th house, it will be there in his own house in Scorpio until end of the week, and there he's showing where our desires are, towards knowledge, towards maybe traveling, towards communication with people abroad, towards negotiations. This week, especially after Venus enters your ascendant, you may negotiate, you may travel, you may do some new beginnings. Also, yes, Mercury on your 12th house is a very spiritual placement, and yes, another spiritual week also for you. So this was my week for the 12 ascendants. If you have questions, write me. You can contact me. All my contacts are below. You can see the links to our school, to my astrological talismans, and also to my personal website. Thank you for your attention.